hashtag Dee Ford 2022. The reason I call it that is it seems like the reason the Niners are trading for Charles Omenihu, there's a lot of reasons, but they're getting nothing from Dee Ford right now.
Yeah.
He missed the last game with a concussion, and before that, he was playing like 10 snaps a game. And it's kind of amazing that he's still on the team since he's had these issues. He had this issue last year. And I looked at his, they redid his contract this offseason to make it more palatable short term. But the consequence of doing that was they pretty much guaranteed that he's going to be on this team next year. And so what you have is a guy taking up about 5% of the Niners salary cap this year, another 5% next year, giving him nothing. And it's not like Jimmy taking up 13%, but he's the defense's version of Jimmy, where he's taking up a 1/20th of your pie and giving you nothing. And we don't talk about it very much, but it's a problem that the 49ers have endured and will continue to for another year.
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of systemic. I mean, injuries are kind of plaguing us, right? And these are big ticket household name injuries that, it's almost like you come to expect it. Like Jimmy, he's not going to be playing the entire season. Your friend George, that he's, probably on the tail end.
Yeah.
Dee Ford, his history's been injury plagued, half seasons completed. And then, like you said, we're devoting a big chunk of our spend for these types of guys who we kind of put more emphasis on value of what we'll probably get, not necessarily looking at what they have given. And even like, for example, the big contract we gave out to Warner. I mean, like that's a huge contract. And Warner's kind of, hey, he's promising. We let go of Cohn, so we got Warner. Great, wonderful. But again, he's been injured. And anytime you've got those sort of things, it's always going to kind of put you behind the 8-ball.
Right.
And I think this is what they're fine with Dee Ford, where, who's going to take on that contract if they even find a suitor? Probably not too many, not with that risk coming out of KC and then now here, now on the Niners. So it's going to be a tough to kind of move those. But I think the other thing with Dee Ford is you have to have other people behind him kind of step up for them to be able to say, okay, D, look, we took a swing, you're injured, no problem, rest it out. But there's and this might be a move for that, right? Like let's see what else we can bring in or add to or develop to be able to sort of get over some of these misses that, don't turn out.
I think what's strange here is how the 49ers usually protect themselves from situations like this. That's what they're famous for the last 20 years. Not necessarily winning consistently, but Parag having these contracts that protect the team. And they're always in good salary cap standing because of Parag. And he's got these team-friendly contracts. And they get rid of guys before it gets to this point. But in Dee Ford's case, in Jimmy's case, they have it. And they've let these things linger and have really overpaid for what they're getting. And I think a lot of fans and maybe general managers around the league are like, why are you doing this? And to me, it's real clear. They traded a second-round pick for Dee Ford. And the 2020 second was for D. They traded a second-round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo. The 2018 second was for Jimmy. And I think what you're seeing is Kyle and John being unwilling to just admit a mistake on a draft pick like that, especially after they extended the guy.
Yeah, for
the
sure.
Pick plus the extension. It's easy. They can get out of these contracts, but they've put themselves in like, let's just bet on them one more year. Well, because you traded for him.
It's akin to if you buy a stock that's performed well in the past, but has taken a big dip, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to get in on that dip. I'm going to put my value, mindset on, pick them up. Hopefully, that goes up, and hey, then I'm a winner. I've 10x my return, right?
But it goes down.
But for us, unfortunately, some of these picks that we have counted on, have continued to kind of stay either stable or dip, and this is and you can't really double down. So, this is where they find themselves in. And I think Parag has always sort of been in the dollar store mindset.
Right.
Hey, what value can I pick up?
How can I save the Yorks a little bit here and there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that mindset is great if you're in that same mindset as a franchise. To say, look, I want to kind of stay here. My fan base is good. I'm getting people in, filling the seats, selling garlic fries. Hey, I'm doing great, right?
Right.
But to get to that next echelon, you sometimes have to open up those coffers. You have to open up those wallets, right? And I think they're not hitting on that. I think they're still a value-driven franchise, relying on years and decades of eliteness, which has proven out great. But again, half in, half out.
What they've learned is that you don't have to win to make an outrageous profit in the NFL. And to win, spending doesn't guarantee it.
That's right.
You can spend and spend and spend and not get any closer to winning. So what I think the Yorks say is, you know what? Why spend? I mean, not they spend enough, but why spend more than what's called for? Why go over, you know, what's and spend a ton on the stadium it would be actually nice, or an assistant coaching staff that isn't just a bunch of the head coach's friends and people that are actually experienced. I mean, they have
Yeah.
some of them, but not enough. Those kind of things. I feel like the Yorks are like, there's no reason. What the DeBartolos did was just spend on everything.
Yep.
Abundanza. That's not what the Yorks do. That's
Yep.
not what Parag does.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
not
And
Abundanza in Santa Clara.
there's no New Orleans carnival ships guiding
No.
parties, right? So it goes again. You look at
But
most
anyway,
teams
the
right
Dee
now.
Ford thing is not it's not a Parag deal. It's not it's so out of character for him.
Yeah,
Then he's an albatross, and Parag is specializes in not having albatrosses on the team on the so it's like this is Kyle and John, and they need to get over their mistake and admit it
that's right.
with Jimmy and with D. Just move on and stop doing this sunk cost. Is it called sunk cost fallacy? I don't
I think
understand
that's what
say
it is.
anything about money or business, so I'm just
That's
using
what it
words
is.
that I've heard in the past.